Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative2xmom, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of our homeschool favorites from the 2017-2018 homeschool year. We just finished out our school year a couple of weeks ago, and I have been cleaning up the bookshelves, putting things back in order, passing on a few things, and I wanted to grab 5 items that completely changed the way we homeschool this year that were great assets to our homeschool and to learning. This is part of a collaboration which is being hosted by myself as well as the lovely April from The Simple Rugged Path. I will leave a link to her channel down below. She shares a lot about homeschooling, books, gluten-free lifestyle, so if you enjoy this channel, I know you'll enjoy hers as well. So check out the link to her channel, and the link to the playlist will be down below as well. So I have 5 things here that as I was cleaning out and putting things in order for next year, I wanted to grab and share with you today. Now this excludes a few of the things that I would have shared because I've done separate videos on them. Story of the World. You guys know that we have completely fallen in love with Story of the World this year, and that would have been in my top 5, but I have already shared that a complete review on that with you previously, so I will link that video down below. However, that definitely would have been in my top 5. Another thing that would have been in my top 5 for this year would have been this 10 Days in Africa. This is an incredible game that we really enjoyed using. It was a great wrap up to our Ancient Africa unit, and I will leave that full review down below. Again, had I not done a full previous video on that one would have been in my top 5. So I had to think a little bit deeper and say, okay, what have I not done full reviews for, you guys? One of these things I think I've mentioned previously, although I've not done a full review of it, and that is these spelling tiles. These are connecting spelling tiles. I got these from Zulily, I believe. The company name on this one is Eureka, and I'm trying not to shake them too much because they make a lot of noise. I have uppercase, lowercase, and I have some tiles in here that are just pictures or pictures with words. I'm not sure. They're all on the bottom because we don't use those as much. However, any sort of connecting spelling tile that you can get your hands on, oops, the blue ones are pictures with the word, and then you have to put the first sound. So this is ion, and it's a picture of a lion. You gotta find the L. Any sort of spelling tiles that you can find. We used these a lot for spelling lists with my first grader. He was doing a 2nd grade spelling curriculum, struggled with it just a tiny bit, and so I was trying to find a hands-on way that he could practice spelling his words. We did a lot of different things. We practiced with markers, we practiced making the vowels red just by themselves, but we also used these to build the word a couple of days a week. The second thing I want to share with you, I believe I've probably shared before in a favorites video, but I'm not sure, and that is these National Geographic Kids magazines. We had a time period where we kind of dropped our subscription for a little while, and we've since picked it back up this year, and I'm reminded how much my kids love these. There's cute little articles, lots of science information, a lot of times focused around animals and habitats. Of course, this one was about orcas. They loved that. I think that was right around the time that we went to the aquarium. Sea turtles, ways to protect the planets. There's usually some sort of logic type puzzle in there, as well as a funny fill-in, which is their version of Mad Libs. My kids look forward to getting these every month. They're pretty inexpensive in and of themselves, but you can also find really great deals on them on Groupon, and I have started searching for those and subscribing to these magazines for my nieces and nephews. They make great birthday presents. They also have, this is the kids version, but they also have a little kids version, which is ages 3 to 6, I believe. I haven't seen those in person, but we love the kids magazines, even on all the way up onto my 12-year-old. He loves these as well. This was something that I just happened to find in a used bookstore. We have a really nice used bookstore here in town, and it's called 10-Minute Real World Reading, Quick Projects to Develop Comprehension. It's by Monday Morning. I had never even heard of this before, and I believe this is pretty old since I was finding it at a used bookstore. I only paid about $1 for it, and so I thought I would grab it, and we started including it into our morning basket there at the end of the year. And it really is. I don't even know if each one took us 10 minutes. Of course, I kind of adapted it because we were using it in our morning basket, whereas in a classroom, I think it would take a little bit more time. But there's so many different projects. There's teaching your children to read a schedule. There's teaching your children to read tables, which they get the practice of that in math, but this is just a good reinforcement for it. Traveling directions, reading a map. We do geography, but this would be a great way to reinforce map reading. Reading dialogue in fiction. I remember one of them that we read was about reading an advertisement. And then you read it together, and then there's questions that you just go through with your kids. What about this? What about this? Is this? I'm thinking back to the advertisement one. Could they prove that? Was it a selling point that they had statistics for that they could prove? Or was it just a way that they were trying to sell this bicycle? Online interviews. This was a great thing to pull and have in our morning basket because it included a lot of different reading structures that I hadn't thought about before. A lot of times we're reading fiction or nonfiction. We're not necessarily sitting down reading an advertisement, a class schedule, puppet theater, that sort of thing. So this was a good way to introduce different types of just reading material and to go through it together. I really like this. I didn't get it until May, I believe, so I'm excited to include it in our morning basket next year. I think it'll be a great thing to have in the mornings. Another thing that we really loved this year and I've been really excited about, a lot of you guys I think know about this, but just in case you don't, the Dollar Tree carries some phenomenal posters, really, really great ones. And I've found over the years that we have found so many wonderful things, and I will just post them up. Like when we did our plant unit, I just posted the diagram of the flower. I didn't even really use it a whole lot necessarily in my teaching, but my kids were seeing it every day, and especially my second grader. My second grader picked up so much more about plant structure than I ever thought was possible. So I just grabbed a few of the ones that we've picked up over the year. We have Counting by Twos, which I thought was really cute because it's in the form of twin popsicles. This is the life cycle of the frog. This one came with our life cycle of the butterfly. And now on the back of these as well, this is a great thing about these posters, you actually have more information. Like I could take this into Kinko's, have it shrunk down, and actually use these as worksheets, use them in our unit studies, use them in our nature studies for the kids to fill out as we're learning together. So that was the butterfly one. Same thing with the frogs. Again, a word search, some fill in the blank, the life cycle that you can have your kids illustrate. This one was huge for us this year, was having the animal cells and the plant cells, because this was the first year that we've really tried to dive into the fact that cells have different parts. My kids know that our bodies are made up of cells, but even inside the cells there's more. So we had both of these. We used the plant cell one the most because we finished with plants this year. But again, you've got some great worksheet information on the back that you could use to create worksheets for your homeschool. This was awesome. I love the posters, and then the backs was just an added bonus. So we had plant cells and animal cells, and then I believe these two came together as well. The water cycle, I used this one for my first grader this year and picked up a lot of vocab on that one. And then of course we talked about the parts of a flower. We use this one in our plant study as well. And again, lots of different things that you can use to help them study, to label, to find the information, true and false, that kind of thing. So if you haven't checked out the poster section at the Dollar Tree, please, please do. Those are just a few that I've collected over the year, and I was really excited about the cell ones. So the last thing I want to share with you is this butterfly net. And this is the first year that we have ever gotten the caterpillars, watched them spin a chrysalis, and hatch into butterflies. I decided this was my last kid that I was going to be homeschooling, and so it was time that I try a few of these things that intimidate me just a little bit. And insects, yes, definitely intimidate me. So we ordered our caterpillars from Insect Lore. I believe this was the butterfly garden kit. It comes with the netting, the little net cage. It comes with a stand for your caterpillars to have their chrysalises hanging on. It comes with all your caterpillars. We hatched 4, I believe, and it was by far the coolest thing that we did in our homeschool all year. This was meant to be a project for my 1st grader, and I have to say it was my 4th grader who got the most into it. She was the least excited about doing insects, and I think that she got more into this than anybody else. I think she probably also learned more from this than anybody else. But for myself as well, this was one of those projects that engaged all of us. From my 12-year-old to my 10-year-old to my 6-year-old and my husband and I as well. My husband was here the day that we took the caterpillars out and we hung the chrysalises in the cage, and he was so fascinated by it. I don't think he was really interested until that point. He got to see everything that had happened. The turning point for me was one day we actually were at home and we happened to be watching when the caterpillar was spinning his chrysalis, and we got to see it form. That was amazing to me because the other 3, we just woke up one day and they were there, but to actually see the process of it happening, it was like, how in the world does that happen? So if you have been on the fence about ordering caterpillars from Insect Lore, I would highly, highly encourage do it. I have a full video of the process that we went through that I just published a few days ago. I will link it down below. It's the absolute coolest thing. Now that we've done it once, I actually really, really want to do it again. And if not, we're talking about possibly doing ladybugs next year because the intimidation factor is now gone, and I realize it's not that big of a deal. It's the best thing we did this year. So leave me a comment down below. What were some of your favorite homeschool items this year? Or if you are not homeschooling but you've considered homeschooling in the future, what would be something that you would really, really love to try? Because chances are it's probably something we would love to try as well. Don't forget to check out the playlist down below and see all the other wonderful contributors to this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.